to look at him, man. Are you kidding me? Over the last few decades, deer hunting has changed. It's gone from shooting any buck to only the biggest trophy deer in some situations. Here on the Kansas 80, you can find our hunting practices somewhere in the middle. The time spent on land management is equally as enjoyable as shooting a big, gnarly buck. The story we're about to tell is one of both: land management and a big, gnarly buck. Laying eyes on Club for the first time on that warm summer evening is something I will never forget. Throughout the rest of the summer, we continued to work hard, knowing it could all pay off this fall. Although that was the first time we saw Club in person, the story of Club goes back to 2019. Club was the first buck we got summer trail camera pictures of. We roughly aged him at 4.5, so he's definitely on our radar. Nate and I both ended up shooting great bucks that fall, and although Club was a regular on trail camera, we never saw him. He made it to the off season and we were excited to see what he would turn into. The 2020 off season is one we were excited for. Every few years as hunters, we get lucky with certain deer making it through the previous season. That was the case for us in 2020. We never found any of Club's sheds, but we continued to put effort in the spring and summer with hopes we could put our hands on this buck. All summer long, we were anxiously awaiting the first pictures of Club and other big deer on the 80. Sure enough, he showed back up, and we couldn't believe the growth he had added on. Fall was right around the corner, and we were ready to be in a tree stand.
Welcome back. September 28th. It's our first sit on the Kansas 80. It feels amazing to be back. We're just blessed and thankful that the Lord blessed us with able bodies to be able to climb up into this tree stand again this year. We've put a lot of work in, so much work. It just feels great to be sitting here and beginning to reap some of those benefits.
Nate and I hit the early season cold fronts hard, but other than that, we stayed off the property. We continued to hunt the end of October and most of November very hard, but still the mature deer were able to avoid us. Last spring, we decided that we wanted to have someone else come hunt the 80 and see what it's all about. Spencer Neuharth was that guy. You may recognize Spencer from the company he works for, EATER. Spencer is a writer, editor, and fact checker for the EATER team. He frequents the EATER and Wired to Hunt podcasts. To put it simple, he's a whitetail nerd. This week, he has his rifle slung over his shoulder for the first ever Kansas 80 rifle hunt.
There was a mature buck coming into the north beans, but I think he got our wind, I would assume. The wind was not doing what we were anticipating. He's a buck that his entire right side's totally busted off, like right past the brow. He's got his left side, but he's totally mature.
Mornings are just tough in December, late season. So we decided to spend our time checking out walk-in, and I mean, it definitely wasn't a waste of time. Sunday evening, anticipation's high. Me and Spencer, I don't know if we both actually said it or verbalized it, but we were in our heads it's got to happen this
December
evening.
6th was the date, the Sunday evening.
Yeah. So we were both in our heads this is it warms up the rest of the week, at least until Friday.
Yeah, you guys intimately know your deer. When that buck popped out, I jokingly asked Tom. I was like, "You know that buck?" And he's like, "Yeah."
And it was funny because that's the only probably 1.5 2.5-year-old buck I could recognize. But
yeah, everything you're about to tell that happened between 5:20 and 5:27.
Yeah,
It was like a deer minute. Is that what you're saying?
Everything here that you're about to lay out happened in a 5 to 7 minute span.
yeah, it was insane and sort of frustrating because as any cameraman or filmer knows, me and Nate always end the evening based on a camera light, which ends about 10 minutes before actually shooting light ends. So I saw these does popping out. I pull out the camera and I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah. So, and then right in front of us, South Beans, 2 does came popping out of there. Then directly in front of us, 50, 60 yards, does started piling out. Spencer, you want to take it from here?
See, I was right here, and Tom was saying you guys don't see deer come out here very often. And then it was doe, young buck. And then the last few minutes, he's oh, big buck, club. And he was on a mission. He rolled out of here. He was like headed up that way.
So he came like right out of this opening kind of thing? And
Yeah.
fishing out here?
Yeah, and it was like didn't need binoculars.
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's a big buck.
Man.
Just happened so fast. It was like good it happened that way because no buck fever then.
Yeah.
It was just like there he is.
Yeah.
Well, luckily we had a north wind last night.
Yeah.
Like last night was like I was gonna be pretty discouraged if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was like the coldest day, best wind,
Winding up.
but it did.
Shot and then just ran slightly in the timber over
Yeah,
there.
he the shot was probably like 70 yards from the blind. He probably went like 80 yards and he stopped right at the edge. And he stood there and he like did one little shuffle backwards and then he just disappeared. And I was like, I think he's down.
Yeah.
He's down like right there.
We didn't waste time to basically pack up gear and start looking for him. And we both thought we had a decent idea where we lost vision of him. So we both went to that edge, and after looking for 2 minutes, it was kind of surreal to see a big giant buck dead right on our bean edge.
Dude. Oh man, I don't even want to pick up his rack. I just want to look at him like this. Oh man, there's so much there. Oh dude, his G2s in this thing. Oh, what an awesome buck. It's like 2 minutes left. Like I was already thinking of tomorrow, and then I was thinking of like Tuesday, like, okay, where are we gonna go? Like, what are we gonna do in the morning? And then you're like, dude, buck. I didn't hit it. Oh, man. Oh, this is so awesome, man.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Unbelievable, honestly. Story of club is over, and I can't believe it. Just one of those bucks that you just never know if you're going to catch up to him. And we've had this deer walking around since he bought this place, and tough season. So glad that Spencer could get it done on this buck. Once in a lifetime buck there. The evening of December 6th will forever be etched into my memory. Of course, we would have loved to capture it on camera, but it simply didn't work out that way. Admiring all of his character that night and putting my hands on him was a simple reminder of why we do all that we do for whitetails. The next day, we walked to 80 with Spencer and we picked his brain for future management on this ground.
We've been thinking about how we're going to change this next year, because last year Tom killed his buck out here and we had a great season hunting it, but then this year we've kind of had some second thoughts on how we have it laid out, how big it is. We love the Bee Nebraska mix. It's been money for us, but like after hunting it for a week, what's your take?
As a rifle hunter, I like it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most rifle friendly part of the property.
Mm-hmm.
But as a bow hunter, like, you guys are gonna be bow hunters, you know, forever.
Yeah.
I would like shrink it a little bit and like make some way that they funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like making an hourglass shape where they just pinch up here or something. Otherwise, I could see how this would be frustrating
Yeah.
for you guys. Like seeing a lot of deer, but
Yep.
not having a lot of shots.
Yep.
So I just think it needs to be a little bit smaller and like make them funnel someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're losing anything by shrinking it. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much food here.
Oh, yeah,
There's
plenty.
more food here than, I don't know, anywhere else in the county.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think you're costing yourself much.
Yeah.
But it'll be more huntable.
Yeah. What I was telling you, Spencer, is like this was like my favorite access last year, because I mean you have this easy path where it's not loud,
Yep.
and then you cross the creek and then ride up, and you don't even disturb any of that bedding over there, just because you have this natural ridge and
Yeah.
block. The south, it was rough to get in there. I mean, it was a good walk, and you had to get through some of the bedding to get into your stand and stuff. But yeah, it's just the access making it as easy as possible. But like that stand back there, you're closer to the bedding, but it's harder to access. But here,
Yeah.
you're not as close to the bedding. It's easier to access.
So, like, where do you think Club was most likely bedding? Like, how far away are we from where you think he was
I don't
hanging
think he was
out?
that far. I mean,
Really?
I think he was probably up that way. At
Uh-huh.
least, I don't know, 180 to 100 yards.
Wow.
I would assume, if like I had to guess.
Uh-huh.
But then I also think he was probably through this middle draw with like on these edges over there too.
So when he would wind up in the beans, like, how do you think he would
I
get
think
there?
he would. So our southeast camera there,
I think he'd probably pop through, and they'd go. When we were in that stand, when I shot my buck, all the deer wanted to go along the east fence, cut down, and then they start curving down. They didn't want to come through this stuff.
Sure.
They go down through the center, and that's still kind of like one of those spots where we're trying to polish it up for next
Right.
year. Haven't dove in there during the hunting season to figure that out.
So how many creek spots do you get like this where it's like, oh, this is where they cross for sure? Like,
I
this
mean,
is it.
From north to south, I bet there's like less than 5.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Spencer, thank you for coming out to the Kansas 80. We enjoyed our time with you. We're glad you're heading home with something people come to Kansas for, a big, gnarly buck.